The restaurant was buzzing with laughter, and all eyes were on the table in the corner. A Chinese billionaire, known for his flashy lifestyle and sharp tongue, was mocking a waiter in front of everyone. The crowd laughed at every word, thinking it was just another show of wealth and arrogance. But the waiter stayed calm, his expression unreadable, almost like he knew something everyone else didn't. As the billionaire continued, the waiter suddenly replied, but not in English. He spoke fluent Chinese, his tone calm yet sharp, and the entire room froze. Whispers spread like wildfire. Nobody expected the quiet, seemingly ordinary waiter to hold his ground, let alone respond in the billionaire's own language. There was a mix of shock, confusion, and a hint of fear in the billionaire's eyes. Little did anyone know, the waiter wasn't just skilled with languages or sharp wit, he held a secret that would flip the entire room upside down. The arrogance, the laughter, and the sense of superiority hanging in the air were about to collide with a reality nobody saw coming. In just moments, the balance of power would shift dramatically, and one powerful woman, sitting quietly at a nearby table, would change everything. By the time she revealed who she really was, the billionaire would wish he had never underestimated anyone. The waiter's calm demeanor wasn't just confidence, it came from years of training, discipline, and secrets he had carefully guarded. He had learned early in life that appearances could be deceiving, that the world often judged by skin color, accent, or status rather than skill or intelligence. Working in high-end restaurants had taught him to blend in, to observe quietly, and to never underestimate anyone. Yet tonight, something felt different. The billionaire, used to having the upper hand, leaned back in his chair, a smug smile slowly fading. His words had been meant to humiliate, to show the world he was untouchable. But the waiter's reply in perfect Chinese was more than a simple comeback. It carried weight, a subtle authority that unsettled the crowd. Eyes darted toward the woman at the next table, discreetly observing the interaction. She sipped her drink casually, but there was a sharpness in her gaze, a calculating calm that suggested she saw much more than anyone realized. Whispers started circulating among the diners. Some were curious, others uneasy. Nobody could tell if this was a confrontation that would escalate or a silent warning. The waiter's past, the billionaire's arrogance, and the mysterious woman's presence were all threads pulling toward an inevitable collision. Every second stretched longer, the tension thickening. Everyone in the restaurant felt that something was about to happen, and nobody knew who would come out on top. The air was charged, every glance heavy with unspoken questions, yet the answers remained just out of reach. The billionaire's eyes narrowed, a flicker of disbelief crossing his face. He wasn't used to being challenged, especially not by someone he assumed was beneath him. The waiter's calm, yet precise words had shifted the energy in the room, leaving the billionaire unsure whether to laugh it off or confront him. Around them, diners whispered quietly, some filming with their phones, sensing that they were witnessing something extraordinary. Meanwhile, the woman at the corner table stayed silent, her expression unreadable. Few noticed her at first, but her subtle presence carried authority. In another life, she could have been just another patron, enjoying her meal. But her role ran far deeper, one that had kept her undercover for years. Her gaze never wavered from the interaction, watching the billionaire and the waiter like a strategist analyzing a high-stakes game. Behind the waiter's composure was more than skill, it was a calculated understanding of people, of power, and of timing. Every move the billionaire made, every smirk and dismissive gesture, was met with a measured counter, building tension layer by layer. Onlookers felt the shift. Some sympathized with the waiter, others grew anxious at the escalating silent battle. Subplots emerged in the subtle reactions around the room. A waiter nearby clutched his tray nervously, unsure how the confrontation might spiral. A couple at another table exchanged worried glances, sensing that the billionaire's pride and the waiter's hidden depth were on a collision course. The air was thick with anticipation. The crowd didn't know it yet, but tonight's clash would expose secrets, power, and intelligence in ways no one expected. And at the center of it all, the mysterious woman silently prepared for what was coming next. The billionaire's composure was cracking, though he tried to mask it with forced laughter. His words, once sharp and mocking, now stumbled as he realized the waiter wasn't intimidated. Each response from the waiter seemed to carry hidden layers of meaning, almost as if he knew exactly how far he could push without the consequences being immediate but inevitable. The restaurant's atmosphere had changed. What was once casual laughter had turned into a tense, almost electric silence. The mysterious woman's eyes flicked from the waiter to the billionaire, her fingers lightly tapping her glass. Her calm presence contrasted sharply with the rising tension, and anyone who looked closely could see the quiet command in her demeanor. She wasn't just a spectator, she was calculating, ready to act if the situation spiraled. Her reputation and authority weren't known to anyone in the room, but her mere presence seemed to amplify the stakes. The billionaire leaned forward, a mixture of curiosity and irritation on his face. The waiter's next words in flawless Chinese hit the air with precision, a verbal jab that left the billionaire momentarily speechless. Whispers surged through the room. The onlookers sensed something monumental was unfolding. Every glance, Every subtle movement added to the pressure, making it impossible to look away. Even the restaurant staff felt that the tension was palpable, a storm about to break. The waiter's quiet confidence, the billionaire's bruised ego, and the woman's hidden authority were converging in a silent, high-stakes confrontation. Each second stretched longer, the suspense building to a point where everyone, even those at other tables, held their breath. Nobody knew what would happen next, but the sense of an impending revelation hung thick in the air, ready to explode. Just as the billionaire seemed to regain a fragment of control, the waiter did something unexpected. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a sleek card, placing it carefully on the table. The card wasn't a credit card or a business card. Its emblem was subtle but unmistakable. The crowd leaned in, trying to see, but only the billionaire, and the mysterious woman's eyes widened in recognition. Suddenly the dynamics shifted. The billionaire's smugness faltered. He realized this wasn't an ordinary confrontation. This waiter had connections, influence, and a presence that rivaled even his own. The woman at the corner table didn't flinch. If anything, she straightened slightly, her gaze sharper than before. It was clear now that she knew the waiter and that the card, the subtle gesture, carried meaning only she could interpret. Whispers spread faster through the restaurant. Patrons sensed the stakes had doubled. What they thought was just a tense exchange was now something much bigger. Power, authority, and secrets that could change lives in an instant. The billionaire's laughter had vanished entirely, replaced with a flicker of fear and disbelief. Every subtle movement, every glance now carried weight. The waiter's calm demeanor hid a calculated advantage, and the mysterious woman's watchful presence hinted at forces in motion that nobody could yet predict. The tension in the room was unbearable. The audience watching, either in person or online through recordings, could feel that this wasn't just a simple clash of egos. It was a silent war of influence, intelligence, and hidden identities, teetering on the edge of a revelation that would shock everyone. The room went silent. As the waiter finally spoke again, his voice steady but commanding, in fluent Chinese, he revealed the truth that left everyone stunned. He wasn't just a waiter. He had been an undercover operative for an international investigation targeting high-profile financial crimes. The billionaire's expression shifted, from shock to panic as he realized the implications. His mocking, his arrogance, and his underestimation of the waiter had just exposed him in front of everyone. At that moment, the mysterious woman rose from her chair, her presence suddenly dominating the room. She identified herself not as a curious patron, but as the head of a covert FBI division specializing in corporate and international fraud. Gasps filled the restaurant. The audience, the diners, and even the billionaire froze. The waiter and the woman shared a subtle nod, confirming a plan executed with precision. Cameras clicked, phones recorded, and the weight of authority was undeniable. The billionaire, realizing he had been outmaneuvered, tried to protest, but it was too late. The cards had been laid, the evidence clear, and the public exposure imminent. What had started as a simple act of arrogance had spiraled into a full-blown investigation, his empire suddenly teetering on the brink of scandal. Just when the tension seemed to peak, the final twist hit. As the FBI had prepared to escort the billionaire out, she whispered something to the waiter that no one else could hear. His eyes widened, just slightly, hinting at a secret even more shocking than the billionaire's downfall, a revelation that promised this story was far from over, leaving everyone questioning what they thought they knew. As the billionaire was quietly escorted out, the restaurant buzz slowly returned to life, though the energy had come